Welcome to Real Women, Real Issues. I have Karen Ridgeway here of DPS. She is the Superintendent of Academics. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you.
I want to get some clarification on the schools. Why would I choose DPS to send my child to preschool?
Well, let's start with that preschool program. We all know that it is very important for children to learn to read by the 3rd grade. That really is an indicator of how successful children will be toward graduation. Our pre-kindergarten program are staffed by very capable, very expert teachers who actually take the time to know the child, know the family, and help articulate that child from pre-kindergarten to our fabulous kindergarten programs.
Absolutely. So once they finish kindergarten and I'm looking for a school for my child, would I stay in DPS for the K-8 program?
We hope that you will, because of the relationship that we've built from our pre-K program to our kindergarten program. And I really like to say that Detroit Public Schools has a school for every child in the city of Detroit. Our academic program is one that is research-based. We know that we have to get to the individual child to make a difference for all children in Detroit Public Schools. We want to make sure that we have our high-quality teaching and learning going on, and not only high-quality teaching and learning, but in order to get there, you really have to have professional development for teachers that speaks to the needs of every child in that classroom.
Now I know you have the Mark Twain School of Scholars.
Yes.
Can you tell me something about that?
It's our new school starting this fall, and the Mark Twain School of Scholars, we took a different approach to our School of Scholars. Of course, we have Bates and Ludington and all of those other schools for gifted and talented children. But we needed a program that really said very clearly that we're looking for children who are high achievers. And we're looking for the best and the brightest teachers in Detroit Public Schools to be the teachers for these high achieving students.
Now, is this school, it's starting in the fall?
It is.
And it's already gotten the teachers lined up?
Well, we're working on getting the teachers lined up because teachers actually have to apply for this program. So the application process would be for highly effective teachers who understand the way in which they need to teach and challenge those high-flying students.
Now, do they have to be in DPS currently, or can they apply from any other school district?
Any other teachers can apply to any job that's opened on our website. So teachers from outside of the district can apply as well.
Now, where is the school located?
It's in Southwest Detroit.
Okay. And
Linda Whitaker is our fabulous principal, and we've been working since I would say early spring on this program.
Oh, it sounds exciting. Now, when you get the registration for the children, I'm assuming they have to also apply.
Yes, they do. And these are students who have to have earned a level 1 or level 2, which is proficient or advanced on the state assessment. So these children come to us already advanced or proficient in those content areas.
Now, do they have to be in any specific grade? Are you looking for just the lower?
We're looking for pre-K-8 for the school.
Oh, so
we have different standards for our children in grades 3 through 8. Our state assessment will be used to determine their eligibility, and we have some other kinds of assessments in place for those children in pre-K through 2.
And the school, if they come in the 8th grade, what is the feeder school do you
We're pulling citywide on this because we're looking for an opportunity for everyone in the city who's interested in a program for their gifted and talented child to take advantage of this.
Now, will they have transportation to the school?
There will be some transportation. It would depend on how far students are away from the school. So that's judged on a case-by-case basis.
That sounds exciting. I'm going to touch base with you in a moment after our break on the community schools. I know a lot about that, and I think it's a wonderful program, so I want everyone out there to hear about it. But first, we're going to go to Jungle Juice for the Juice of the Week.
Thank you, Ardelle. Hello, everyone. My name is Regina Hunter-Coleman.
And I'm Sarita Hunter-Das.
Today, our smoothie of the week is what we call our pineapple number 3, which consists of
pineapple. It's about 2 cups of pineapple. We normally only do 1 cup of fruit, but since this is the main fruit that's going to be in our smoothie for today, it's just going to be 2 cups instead of the 1 cup. So we have the pineapple, we have kale, and then we also have grape lemon pulp. Here at Jungle Juice Bar, we try our best to use all of our waste. So when we do our grape lemon juice, we take the pulp from the grape lemon juice and we use it for our pineapple number 3. So, and we use green grapes, so that's why the pulp is a little bit of this color. So
the nice thing too about minimizing waste, when you do juice, if you make grape lemon at home, you'll have this nice pulp left over, and the pulp is going to be loaded with nutrients. It won't be utilized if you throw it away. So one way to save it is you can use this grape pulp for your, of course, your smoothies. You can use it to make popsicles and various other drinks as well. And it also helps to sweeten your drink if you want to sweeten your drinks.
For our liquid, we'll just be using a half a cup of orange juice and a half a cup of our jungle juice. So let's get started blending it together. This is one of our most popular smoothies here, pineapple number 3.
And it's so popular because you get a combination of your fruits and vegetables. So while drinking your vegetables, sometimes it may not be as pleasing, but you add the pineapple and the orange juice, it really sweetens it. So it's a very pleasant experience having the orange juice and having your vegetables.
I think this is a great morning smoothie as well.
It's filling also. It's really good.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Nice and thick too. And remember, your health is your wealth.
Try the juice of the week and much more at the Jungle Juice Bar. The Jungle Juice Bar is located on Charlevoix in Grosse Pointe Park.
When you're having a heart attack, this is how it feels to your heart. And if it happens at night or on the weekend, there's only one hospital team standing by on site to save you. Cardio Team 1, only at the DMC.
We're the Cronin Law Firm, bringing more to the table. When we sit down together, we share our expertise. You've got a legal problem, we know you need relief. Advice that you can trust, that's why people come to us. We're the Cronin Law Firm, bringing more to the table.
My friends, I want to introduce you to Samasco Financial. As attorneys, they worked hard to protect clients on a legal basis, only to watch many lose their money in the unpredictable and risky stock market. Samasco Financial has recognized the need for asset protection for our seniors and has introduced investment planning that will grow your nest egg without the risk of loss. To find out more about how Samasco Financial can protect your financial future, call 586-493-9989.
Groundbreaking, life-saving, history-making. The new DMC Heart Hospital, summer 2014. The beat goes on.
Real Women, Real Issues is brought to you by Mike's Fresh Market.
Welcome back to Real Women, Real Issues. I have Karen Ridgeway here with me. She is the Superintendent for Academics for DPS. Thank you again for coming today.
Good to be here.
I would like to now, we've talked about elementary schools and preschool. Here's something about the high schools in DPS. I know we have some wonderful schools in DPS. So expound on that for me, please.
Well, I need everyone to know that DPS seniors earned $138 million in scholarships this last year. That we have 5 Gates Millennium Scholars. Okay. We have a school in U.S. News and World Report that's Renaissance High School. It's one of the best high schools in the United States, and we're very, very proud of that. We have, many of our high schools have a career focus. Okay. And the career academies basically focus on medicine, science, aerospace, dual immersion, technology and science, mathematics. All of our high schools really have a focus on students leaving them career and college ready, Which is very important in Detroit even. You can go to high school, come out prepared to have a career, and you can either work while you go to college and help pay for it, because we all know college is very expensive, or if you decide to make that your avenue in life. Well, we have Career Academy at Randolph Career and Technical Center that I'm very proud of. It is a 5-year program that allows students to, once they graduate, walk away with a high school diploma, credit towards an associate's degree, an apprenticeship, and have an opportunity to have some job opportunities
once they graduate high school.
It takes an additional year, but what 19-year-old has that? All of that.
At one time.
And I think that would make students very, very attractive to institutions of higher learning and to those offering careers and jobs.
Something I'm very familiar with in DPS is the community schools.
Excellent.
It's relatively new.
It is.
You could probably know more about it than myself, actually. Could you give us some information on the community schools?
Well, we have 21 community schools. And the community school strategy is basically to look at a student in a holistic way, to provide supports that are not only academic, but supports where, for the family, for example, if they have difficulty with, with medical or dental or vision or any kinds of supports that you need to build around the family to make sure that that child is in a stable environment. And we know that a stable home for a child really leads to academic achievement at school.
And I know another pinpoint with the community schools is attendance. Absolutely. Because if you're not there, you can't do anything. And bringing the community into the schools, if there's something you need, like keeping your lights on or your gas, or children may not be able to have school supplies. They may not have shoes to put on. And I know at a few of the schools that I'm familiar with very well, we are having different communities take a month and sponsor that month. And for the month of September, for instance, they're going to do school supplies. So they're going to supply school supplies for all of my students. Then in October, they're doing coats and hats and scarves. So the kids don't have to worry about coming to school in inclement weather. They'll have that taken care of. So I think it's an awesome idea. I know a few years ago when I was in elementary school, we had schools similar to this project where we had the nurse in the school, or you had a counselor you can talk to, and if you needed outside resources, they would, connect you with that.
It's a way to mitigate the challenges.
Absolutely.
We think about first day, every day, all day for our students, but then we also have to think about how do we help to resolve some of the challenges that stop students from being at school that first day, staying in school every day and being there all day long. So it's an excellent opportunity for all of those who are involved in community schools to help our students grow.
And at our school, we actually have a celebration. For any student that has perfect attendance every month, no tardies, no absence, the first Wednesday of the following month, we do a celebration. And our community actually supplies that for us also.
That's
they
wonderful.
come in and we either have maybe a little social dance for them, we may provide some books or something just so all the other children, how did you do that, where did you go? So now they're ready to get to school on time and have no absence.
You know that being there every day is important. Being there on time is important.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate all of the efforts from all of our community schools and all of our partners.
And we appreciate you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you again for being with us here today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And thank you. And we will be back right after this.
When needed.
Team Mental Health Services prides itself on going the extra mile for its members.
And it was towards the 6th court date. I finally stood up and said, I can handle this process the rest of the way. And it was all because of the motivation and encouragement I got from Team Mental Health staff.
Team Mental Health Services, because we care and you can.
Opportunity. It doesn't stare you in the face. It's not going to yell at you to come and get it. It doesn't knock. So what does opportunity look like? Not what you might think. You see, opportunity is not a right. It's definitely not equal. And it doesn't come with an instruction manual. That's because opportunity isn't found. It's molded, it's built, it's created. It's as much about grit as it is intellect. An explosive high-tech corridor located at the intersection of muscle and brains? You bet. Because opportunity only comes to those already in the game. What does opportunity look like? It looks like Detroit. Opportunity made in Detroit.
Mike's Fresh Market, Detroit's largest independent supermarket with the best prices, quality, and service. Enjoy our vast selection of fresh fruits and vegetables. Wide aisles lead you to our own in-house bakery and deli. Beef, pork, chicken, seafood, and much more. You can rest assured you will feed your family the freshest food in town. Whatever you need, you can find it here at Mike's Fresh Market. Mike's Fresh Market with 2 locations, Gratiot and 7 Mile and Livernois and 7 Mile. Better food, better prices. That's Mike's promise.
Welcome back to Real Women, Real Issues. I have Donna Givens Williams, president of YDC, which is the Youth Development Commission. We're going to talk about today the achievement gap between black people.
Okay. Well, when you talk about achievement gap, and that's been in the news quite a bit lately, a lot of times what we're really talking about is a testing gap, not an achievement gap. Achievement is really something that you accomplish over time. When you achieve something, it means that you put effort into it. What we're talking about is a 2 to 4 hour test that is being construed as achievement, and it's really not. So I like to talk about the testing gap. And I think there's a lot of literature out there. In fact, I know there is that equates the testing gap to poverty, to racial bias on tests, and to a number of other factors, including stress during the day of the test, which can be caused by anything from hunger to homelessness and other types of factors. It all gets construed into what's called an achievement gap, but that's not what's being measured. No, we're just really looking at tests.
Now, who determines that this test decides where the gap is?
Well, the test makers have a pretty good thing going on right now. You have, for example, the ACT has said that these are measures that determine who is ready for college and who is not ready for college, even though there is no scientific correlation between the ACT score and college readiness. In fact, the best way to determine how well a student is going to be to perform in college is actually grades. It always has been, it always will be. Though there are differences and variations in colleges, high schools, and so some high schools may be a little bit more rigorous, and in some instances the grades aren't necessarily a perfect predictor of a student's achievement, but what the grades also speak to is how much resiliency do you have, how much grit do you have, how hard are you really willing to work in order to get to a place or to perform. So when we call it an achievement gap, I kind of take issue with the fact that, first of all, the tests are not universally considered valid or reliable. You have some students, we had one student who is part of the Youth Development Commission who goes to a very good high school who took a test and got a 14 the first time she took it and a 20 the second time she took it. The difference in the score had everything to do.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Well, she understood what the test was looking for. She understood how to perform on the test. There's no difference in her achievement when she went from the 14 to the 24. 20. It was a difference in preparation for the test.
There will be difference in the money that she'll receive from college, too, from a 14 to a 20.
And to her access to college, and to a certain extent, how her high school is evaluated. So she took the 14 during the school MME testing period. She got a 20 after that testing period. That 20 is not going to be factored into her school ACT scores only when she took the MME. And we all know that there are students across the nation who prepare starting in 9th grade for the ACT and SAT standardized tests, and there's some students who actually believe that it's a test of your abilities and there's no way to effectively prepare.
And can't you actually begin taking that exam in the 7th grade?
Absolutely.
Because I have friends that have started their children taking it in the 7th grade. I didn't think, you know, I didn't say it was not worthy, but like you say, I don't believe it's an achievement goal for them. You can't tell me you get this test and this is everything, because you can only ask so many questions on that exam. And if you happen to know those questions correct, well, then you'll score high.
Right.
But then you can have another test with the different questions, still same academic level, and know those answers.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of problems that I have with the test, and a number of people have with the test. Most importantly, what do the tests measure? We know they measure wealth. We know they measure opportunity, certainly opportunity to learn. Are you in a rigorous school? We know they measure test-taking preparation, and beyond that, we're not sure what they measure. The other thing is that we call them achievement tests, but they are designed to, actually the SAT's initial name was Scholastic Aptitude Test, so it was measuring ability, not achievement. We get those words conflated, and because there is a gap between black and white students, we say, hey, black students need to test harder, we need to change their schools.
Right.
We never say the poverty index that is so much greater between black and white students, the homelessness index, the fact that so many black kids are living in segregated settings with toxic stress conditions is contributing.
Makes a difference. I want to talk to you more about that in a moment. But first, we're going to hear the dermatology tip of the week from Dr. Shauna Diggs.
We are beautiful in every single way. Yes, words can bring us down.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shauna Diggs with your dermatology skincare tip of the week. Today we're talking about fungal nail infections. So these are very commonplace after the summer when people go swimming, work in the garden, work out in the gym. So the fungus infection will enter the nail, especially if the nail's been damaged before, and then you start to get this yellow discoloration, sometimes a little blue or a little black, and it'll get thicker, and you can get like a thick sort of scale that you can scrape from underneath the nail. We have ways of treating fungal nail infections. First, we do a culture. So we scrape a little bit of that skin, that scale under the nail, and put it into a dish and let it grow. If it grows, the agar in the container turns red. Then we give you some options for treatment. We can use prescription medications that you apply every day to the nail, like a nail polish, and it goes through the nail and treats the fungus between the nail plate and the skin. We can also use nail drops that you drop onto the skin twice a day around the nail. And we can also use some pills that can treat nail fungus that you're typically on for 3 to 4 months. Some of those medications are broken down in the liver, so we have to check your blood work first to make sure that you're safe on the medication. After you stop the pill in 4 months, then it takes about 6, 8, 10 months for the toenail to grow out completely clear. This is Dr. Shauna Diggs with your dermatology skincare tip of the week.
To learn more about Cosmetic Derm and their revolutionary skincare products and services, please visit drshaunadiggs.com.
Mike's Fresh Market, Detroit's largest independent supermarket with the best prices, quality, and service. Enjoy our vast selection of fresh fruits and vegetables. Wide aisles lead you to our own in-house bakery and deli. Beef, pork, chicken, seafood, and much more. You can rest assured you will feed your family the freshest food in town. Whatever you need, you can find it here at Mike's Fresh Market. Mike's Fresh Market with 2 locations, Gratiot and 7 Mile and Livernois and 7 Mile. Better food, better prices. That's Mike's promise.
My friends, I want to introduce you to Samasco Financial. As attorneys, they worked hard to protect clients on a legal basis, only to watch many lose their money in the unpredictable and risky stock market. Samasco Financial has recognized the need for asset protection for our seniors and has introduced investment planning that will grow your nest egg without the risk of loss. To find out more about how Samasco Financial can protect your financial future, call 586-493-9989.
ETX Closed Captioning is sponsored by the Detroit Seafood Market.
Welcome back to Real Women, Real Issues. I have Donna Givens Williams with me today. She's the president of YDC, which is the Youth Development Commission. We're talking about the achievement gap between the different races in our society. Thank you again, Donna.
Thank you.
I heard something recently, and I'm not going to name any institutions, but there are some HBCUs and some other universities which I understand are no longer going to use ACT or SAT. They're going to just go by the test scores and interviews.
Yes.
Do you think this is something that's good?
Yes, I do. I think that certainly, well, let me say this. Sometimes students use ACT and SAT scores to supplement their resumes.
Correct.
So if you have a homeschool student and you have no objective way of measuring their performance, an ACT or an SAT score may make a difference. But increasingly, some colleges and universities are recognizing the racial bias, the income bias, and the overall unreliability of the test in predicting student performance. What's happened is that top-tier colleges now educate wealthier kids than they did when you and I were in college, which was a little while ago. But the college campuses are becoming wealthier, and the access of poor kids, the ability to use higher education as a ladder out of poverty is really, really shrinking because of the fact that tests are so highly correlated with income and with opportunity in terms of what school you go to.
And I say that all the time. I have a child in college and 2 more coming up, and I have a tuition bill to pay, and every day when I look at it, it's going to be the have and the have-nots. Either you're going to be rich and able to afford a quality university, or you're not. And like you said, when we were coming along, anybody can go to school. There were so many opportunities and ways you can finance and have money to go. Can you give me some ways that we can take this gap and shrink it, or dissolve it?
Let me just say a couple of things. Number one, when I look at achievement, I look at the opportunity for a kid who's raised in poverty, who has a number of challenges on their back, who is able to somehow successfully do an excellent job in high school, take the hard classes, get involved in school activities, and prepare for college as a student who's achieved a lot more than many students who have had so much support in their lives.
Things handed down.
And so when I look at achievement, my principal issue with that term is that when you see a kid coming from impoverished and struggles, challenge settings, and they achieve something great, that is achievement. And we need to recognize that as such, and we need to relanguage the testing. If you decide testing is important, let's just call it a testing gap. But in terms of ways to improve academic achievement, I would say, number one, that you have got to increase the study time that students have. You have to increase high school rigor. You're going to have to decrease poverty. If we're really worried about equal opportunity, then we're going to have to say, where's our anti-poverty program? Where's our anti-hunger program? Where's our anti-homelessness program? In our society, we say that we want equal opportunity for all people, but we say not necessarily equal outcomes, because equal outcomes is socialism. The only place where we just demand that the outcomes be equal is in education. Regardless of where you come from, you're supposed to get the exact same test score, and that is not only...
But we all know that's not true.
But it's irrational. But at the same time, this irrational policy, it drives school policy. So when you start looking at closing all of the schools that you've closed in Detroit, all of the schools that you've closed in Chicago and New York and Los Angeles, it's all linked to lower test scores, which are all in communities that are primarily communities of color and primarily coincidentally poor. We're blaming the schools, and certainly there are bad schools, without blaming the conditions in which children are raised. If we want to change outcomes, we have got to take a holistic look at how children are being raised. I work with kids, and sometimes I'm amazed at the minimal things, according to our society, that they are able to accomplish. So schools can't fix poverty. Schools can't create equality without other things being in place.
I want to thank you, Donna. I know people are going to take away a lot from this, and I've learned some from you, and we're going to work on getting that gap, not necessarily achievement gap, shortened. Thank you for tuning in to Real Women, Real Issues, and I'll see you next week right here.